Hey everyone, just want to do a quick video about barrel adjusters. Now for those of you that, some may not know what barrel adjusters are. Let me show you really quick. All right, here. Barrel adjusters are these right here. Little pieces you can turn out to take up slack in the cable to put tension back into the cable as your cable wears. Okay, now these are barrel adjusters for your brakes. This one's loose here. And that happens too. Normal vibration as you're going down the road, that happens. But now, let me talk to you about something here. Important to keep in mind when it comes to your barrel adjusters. Now, in this case, we're going to talk about the brakes, all right? Now, down here on your brakes, you have a barrel adjuster too. You have this piece up here that you can turn, just like this. And then down below it, you have a little bolt that will tighten up to where that setting will stay in place. Now, that will loosen up depending on your road conditions. Now, on your brakes, so I'm going to turn this back down all the way. See, I don't have my barrel adjusters taken out on my brakes at all. Because on your brakes, unless you have excessive cable play, like in this case I do, because everything's still breaking in, then you could use the barrel adjuster and do a very small turn to take up the cable slack. Do not use the barrel adjusters on your brakes to tighten your brake up, to make the lever come up. All right, that's bad news. And the reason for that, and yeah, I was guilty of this a long time ago on bikes, and a lot of people do this. They're just like, okay, the brakes aren't working right. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna screw this piece out. This piece is plastic right here, okay? I'm just going to screw this thing out as far as it'll go until my brake is nice and tight. Now, when I do my brake settings, this is about where I want the brake lever to be at. That right there is firm. And on the bikes that have your cutoff switch for the motor, you want to make sure you have enough travel with your brake handle. Okay, that's a safety thing there, guys. I leave about a thumb width in between, like this, not like this. Leave about a thumb's width in between. That's kind of where my sweet spot is for how I like my brakes to be, all right? So with your brakes, only use a barrel adjuster to take up the slack in the cable as the cable is stretching over use. If you have to do an actual adjustment with your brakes, do it at the brake caliper assembly itself. All right. Now, difference is, if I can get here between the bikes, on your derailleur, you got your barrel adjuster right here. Now, this will turn counterclockwise or clockwise to either loosen the cable tension or tighten the cable tension up. You only use that to adjust the shifting in between your gears, all right? In other words, if you are shifting into a gear and it's not going all the way into the gear, then you would do very minor adjustments with your barrel adjuster to either let some slack out of the cable or take some slack up, to either tension the cable to get it to sit firmly and aligned on that particular gear, okay? If your cable is getting stretched over time, then you want to put the bike down into the highest gear, which is your smallest sprocket, and then loosen up the cable connecting nut down here, and then pull and take up the excess cable play, and then do your fresh adjustments from that point, okay? Don't get all radical and start just turning this thing, oh, it's getting all, because you're going to get back into a similar problem, okay? So it's a very simple thing to keep in mind and remember. And if you are making minor adjustments on your barrel adjusters to take up that cable slack, make sure you check them after rides, because they are going to vibrate and get loose. I do not suggest taking a wrench and putting it on there and cranking that thing down, you know, because you could go stripping something. And if you're out there on a ride and you've got to manually do something, you know, generally keeping it good finger tight should be more than adequate, guys. So yeah, just a quick little informational thing about your barrel adjusters. Clear up any confusion that you might have about those. That way you don't make any mistakes or do something stupid, especially with the plastic ones up on the handlebars. Let me show you something what I'm talking about here too. Like on this bike here, these are super cheap plastic barrel adjusters. And if you were to use these specifically just to pull these out, to put a bunch of tension to adjust the brakes, what's going to happen on these really cheap ones, it can actually bend, force this little opening in your brake unit to split, and the threads in here are just going to slide back in. So don't use these as means to actually do the actual brake adjustment, only to take up a little bit of cable slack as the cable stretches, okay? Especially important on really cheap assemblies. So be careful with that, guys. Other than that, hope you're keeping safe out there. It's pouring down rain here. Go figure, that time of year. Halloween's coming up. Spooky stuff. Still doing a little bit of decorating. All we need now is a kitty cat out here. But all right, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Take care and keep safe.